Welcome back! So far in this course, we've covered what burndown charts are, the different types including sprint and release burndowns, and we've walked through creating both work remaining versus work completed and adjustable floor burndown charts step by step in Excel. You've even completed your assignment and created your own burndown charts from scratch. But here's the thing, creating a burndown chart is only half the battle. Let me share a story from my early days at the tax administration. We had a development team working on a critical taxpayer portal update. The deadline was fixed. Tax filing season doesn't wait for anyone. The Scrum Master was updating the burndown chart every day, and when I'd walk by, I'd see this nice, steady downward slope. Everything looked fine on paper. But at the sprint review, we discovered they'd only completed 40% of the planned work. The stakeholders were furious. The team was confused, and the Scrum Master said, "But the burndown chart looked good." Here's what actually happened. The chart showed a steady decline because the team kept marking tasks as in progress and reducing estimates as they worked. Technically, work remaining was decreasing, but nothing was actually getting done. When I looked at their daily burndown, not just the final sprint burndown, I saw the real pattern. A flat line for the first 6 days, then a sudden drop on days 7 and 8. That's the hockey stick pattern, and it told me everything. The team was delaying updates, working in silos, and then batch updating their progress. No collaboration, no transparency, no real Scrum. We fixed it by learning to read the chart's patterns, asking the right diagnostic questions, and taking specific actions. That team went on to deliver 3 consecutive sprints on time with improved quality, and that's what I'm going to teach you today. Here's what I've learned after analyzing hundreds of burndown charts across multiple government projects. Burndown charts speak their own language, and once you learn this language, you can diagnose problems before they become disasters. I'm going to show you 7 critical patterns, what they mean, what questions to ask when you see them, and exactly what actions to take. Let's dive in. Pattern number 1, the flat line progression. This is when your burndown chart shows no decrease in work remaining for multiple days. The line is completely flat. What it means, no work is being completed, zero progress. Diagnostic questions to ask. Are team members actually working on sprint tasks? Are there blockers preventing work completion? Is the work poorly understood or too complex? Action framework, daily stand-up. Ask each team member to commit to completing at least one task today. Identify blockers immediately. Retrospective, discuss why work isn't flowing. Is it estimation, technical debt, unclear requirements, real-world fix? I had a team with this pattern. Turns out they were all waiting on a database admin to provision a testing environment. In the retrospective, we established a blocker resolution protocol where blockers get escalated within 2 hours. Pattern number 2, steep drop at sprint end, the hockey stick. The chart is flat most of the sprint, then drops sharply in the last 1 to 2 days. What it means, either estimates are wildly inaccurate or the team is delaying chart updates until the end. Both are problems. Diagnostic questions. When are team members updating their task status? Are tasks being broken down into small enough increments? Is there real daily collaboration or are people working in isolation? Action framework, daily stand-up. Make chart updates mandatory during stand-up. Ask, what did you complete yesterday that should be reflected on this chart right now? Retrospective, address estimation accuracy and the definition of done. Implement pair programming or mob programming for better collaboration. This was the pattern from my story earlier, and it revealed a lack of daily transparency. Pattern number 3, consistent early completion. Sprint after sprint, your team finishes all committed work 2-3 days early. What it means, the team is undercommitting, they're playing it safe and not maximizing their capacity. Diagnostic questions. What is the team doing in those extra days? Why aren't we pulling in more work from the backlog? Are we afraid of overcommitting, or is there pressure to always make the sprint? Action framework. Daily stand-up. When work is completed early, immediately pull in the next highest priority item. Retrospective. Celebrate the success, but discuss increasing sprint commitment by 10 to 15%. Review velocity data to set more ambitious but realistic goals. In our tax system modernization project, one team kept finishing early. We increased their commitment and they maintained the same early finish pattern. They'd been sandbagging. Pattern number 4, consistent late delivery. The opposite problem. Sprint after sprint, work remaining never reaches zero. What it means? The team is chronically overcommitting, estimates are too optimistic, or there are systemic impediments. Diagnostic questions. Are we accounting for meetings, emails, and other non-sprint work? Are there recurring blockers or dependencies? Is the product owner changing priorities mid-sprint? Action framework. Daily stand-up. Identify scope that can be decommitted early. Don't wait until the last day. Retrospective. Review velocity over the last 3 to 5 sprints. Commit to only 80% of calculated capacity to account for unknowns. Address systemic impediments with leadership. I worked with a tax audit reporting team that had this pattern for 6 sprints straight. Root cause? They didn't account for mandatory weekly management meetings that consumed 6 hours per person. Pattern number 5, the scope creep signature. Your burndown is decreasing nicely, then suddenly jumps upward mid-sprint. This happens repeatedly. What it means, work is being added to the sprint after it started. The sprint goal is being compromised. Diagnostic questions. Who is adding work and why? Is this truly urgent or poor backlog planning? Are we protecting the team's sprint commitment? Action framework, daily stand-up, immediately flag new work additions. Ask, does this threaten our sprint goal? Retrospective, review all mid-sprint additions. Establish a clear protocol. New urgent work means something else must be removed. Educate stakeholders on sprint sanctity. At the tax administration, we had a director who kept adding quick fixes mid-sprint. After showing him this pattern and the impact on velocity, he agreed to hold requests until the next sprint planning. Pattern number 6, irregular, jagged progress. The burndown line looks like a mountain range, up and down with no predictable pattern. What it means? Blocking issues, external dependencies, or poor task breakdown creating unpredictable workflow. Diagnostic questions. What dependencies exist that we can't control? Are tasks too large, creating binary done-not done situations? Do we have too much work in progress simultaneously? Action framework, daily stand-up, implement WIP, work in progress, limits. No one starts new work until current work is complete. Retrospective, map all external dependencies, create a dependency management plan, break stories into smaller independent tasks. Our citizen portal team had this pattern. They were dependent on a legacy mainframe system that was only available 4 hours per day. We restructured work to batch dependency-heavy tasks and parallelized independent work. Pattern number 7, the late sprint surge. Different from the hockey stick, work starts slow, then accelerates smoothly in the second half of the sprint. What it means, the team needs warm-up time to understand the work, or complex tasks are front-loaded without showing progress. Diagnostic questions. Are we spending too much time in analysis before starting implementation? Do we need better refinement before sprint planning? Are tasks too large to show incremental progress? Action framework. Daily stand-up. Encourage spikes or research tasks to be time-boxed and completed in first 2 days. Retrospective. Improve backlog refinement. Ensure user stories are well understood before sprint planning. Consider splitting complex stories differently. This is actually a healthy pattern for research-heavy work, as long as it's intentional. Here's how to use this framework in practice. Step 1. Observe the pattern. Look at your burndown daily. Don't wait until the sprint review. What shape do you see? Step 2. Ask diagnostic questions. Use the specific questions I gave you for each pattern. Ask them in daily stand-up or in a quick team huddle. Step 3. Take immediate action. Don't just discuss, act. Use the daily stand-up actions for quick fixes and the retrospective actions for systemic changes. Step 4. Track and verify. Did the pattern change? If not, dig deeper. There might be multiple root causes. Let me show you a real transformation. Before, a tax collection enforcement team showed the flatline pattern for 3 sprints. Their burndown barely moved until the last 2 days, then showed a hockey stick drop. Diagnostic. We asked the questions and discovered two issues. 1. Tasks were too large, most were 3 to 5 day efforts, and 2. The team culture discouraged updating incomplete work. Actions taken. Broke all tasks into 4-hour increments or smaller. Changed team norm. Update Burndown twice daily, regardless of completion. Scrum Masters spot-checked Burndown at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. After, next sprint showed smooth daily progress. The sprint after that, they finished 1 day early. Velocity increased from 28 to 35 story points. Before, a taxpayer registry modernization team showed the scope creep signature. 4-6 upward bumps every sprint for 2 months straight. Diagnostic. The product owner was adding critical fixes based on production issues without removing anything. Actions taken. Established sprint protection rule. Any addition requires equal removal. Created a fast-track process for true emergencies, used only twice in 6 months. Weekly backlog refinement to prioritize upcoming production issues. After, scope creep bumps disappeared. Sprint predictability went from 40% meeting goals to 85%. Team morale improved dramatically because they could actually finish what they started. Before, a legal compliance reporting team had the irregular/jagged pattern. Their burndown looked like a seismograph during an earthquake. Diagnostic. Heavy dependency on legal department reviews, which were unpredictable. Also, tasks were too large. Actions taken. Negotiated 2 dedicated legal review hours on days 2, 5, and 8 of each sprint. Split all development tasks into development and legal review subtasks. Implemented a buffer of pre-reviewed work they could pull if reviews were delayed. After, progress became predictable. Jagged patterns smoothed out. Velocity stabilized, and they could confidently forecast delivery dates to leadership. Now here's your tool to put this into practice immediately. I've created a pattern recognition checklist for you. You'll find it in the resource section. Here's how to use it. 1. Daily pattern check, 30 seconds. Every morning, glance at your burndown and identify which pattern you're seeing. Check the box on the worksheet. 2. Weekly diagnostic, 5 minutes. In your mid-sprint check-in, ask the diagnostic questions for your current pattern. Record the answers. 3. Action planning, retrospective. Use the action framework section to plan and track corrective actions. 4. Pattern tracking. Keep a log of patterns over multiple sprints. You'll start to see trends, and that's when real improvement happens. The teams I've coached who use this tool religiously see improvement within 2-3 sprints. The teams who don't, well, they keep creating beautiful charts that tell them nothing. Before we wrap up, 3 critical mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1, waiting until sprint review to analyze the pattern. By then, it's too late to fix the current sprint. Look at your burndown daily. Mistake number 2, treating patterns as good or bad. Patterns are diagnostic tools. Even a bad pattern gives you valuable information. The real failure is ignoring what the pattern tells you. Mistake number 3, fixing symptoms instead of root causes. A hockey stick pattern isn't solved by forcing more frequent updates. You need to understand why updates are delayed in the first place. Let's recap what you've learned today. You now know the 7 critical burndown patterns that reveal what's really happening in your sprints. You have specific diagnostic questions to ask for each pattern, turning observation into understanding. You have an action framework that tells you exactly what to do in Daily Stand-up and Retrospective. And you've seen real government project examples where teams transform their delivery by reading the patterns correctly. Here's what I want you to do next. First, download the pattern recognition checklist from the resources section. Second, look at your current sprint's burndown right now. Which pattern do you see? Write it down. Third, in your next daily stand-up, ask the diagnostic questions for that pattern. Remember, the burndown chart is not just a reporting tool. It's a conversation starter. It's a diagnostic instrument. And now, you know how to read what it's telling you. In the next lecture, We'll talk about advanced burndown techniques and how to use these patterns to improve your sprint forecasting accuracy. But for now, go practice pattern recognition. Your burndown chart has been talking to you this whole time. Now you can finally understand what it's saying. See you in the next lecture.